I'm Alan, this is Alan's Firearms and Guns Plus More, and this is the FN Herstal Five-seveN. Yeah, we have a 5.7 here. I know, they're hard to get. I got one. Well, we have a 5.7 here. It's got adjustable sights. It's got a takedown switch on it. It's got ambidextrous safeties, and it's got a one-side slide release, and it has a big button for the magazine release, which if you push it, it comes out. It has a magazine safety. It will not fire with the magazine out of the gun. Let me show you that. See, that time it released the firing pin. The buttons are all small, so they're not easy to get to. And the safety is weird. I don't know how it's supposed to be used. It's real far away from your thumb. It's above the trigger finger. I guess you're supposed to use this finger to do it, but it's kind of weird. I'm not in love with the buttons on this gun, but this gun is very special. Let me tell you, I always say special. Let me tell you about what makes this gun special. Okay. NATO needed something new. NATO requested, put a request out. They wanted to replace the 9x19 cartridge. The 9x19 cartridge is what most Americans just know as a 9mm. It's the 9x19, also called 9mm Parabellum or 9mm Luger. Now, the MP5 was a great machine gun for them, and they have a whole host of great 9mm double action and single action pistols, but they had a problem. They wouldn't penetrate light body armor. Body armor that could be worn underneath clothing that you couldn't tell someone was wearing it. And that's important because there were a lot of dignitaries being kidnapped a number of years ago overseas. Businessmen were being kidnapped for ransom overseas. They needed something that they could hang from their body and discreetly under clothing, be able to pull it out and use it. They needed a shoulder-fired weapon. That was their request was no more than 6.6 pounds, and a handgun that shot the same ammunition no more than 2.2 pounds. They wanted the shoulder weapon to be able to be carried on their body without the need of hands and be able to get pulled up quickly, either in a car or what they call a cab. For us Americans, it's a car, or a limo, or in close quarters, and would penetrate body armor, have greater range, greater accuracy, and greater terminal performance out of the firearm. And they came up with the 5.7, and that was based on how 22 Magnums sort of react. Yes, this is a lot more powerful and bigger than a 22 Magnum. 22 Magnum is a 5.56. This is a 5.7. So it's a little bit bigger, but it's based. Remember, 22 Magnum is a varmint round. This is based to kill humans. So they give you a little more energy. They made it a little bigger, but it's based on the same principles that a 22 Magnum can penetrate light body armor. It's a small projectile moving so fast that the mesh of the body armor can't grab the round. It's moving too fast for it to capture. So that is why they made those weapons. This was the handgun that was made to go along with the personal defense weapon. That's what they were called. They wanted a PDW, a personal defense weapon system, and that was the system. So let's take this 5.7 to the workbench. Let's field strip it, clean it, lube it, and put it back together again. So here we are at the workbench with the FNH Herstal. FN stands for Fabrique Nationale. They did a lot of work with John Browning when he was alive. He made a lot of designs for them. Primarily it worked for them and Colt in America. These guys in Europe, and they were the ones who made the Browning High Power. Now this is the 5.7 round, and we have this nice black background for it to roll on. Let's move this out of the way and we'll put this on the red felt. Okay, so there's the 5.7. Now this is the 22 Magnum. So what basically, the bullet is slightly bigger than a 22 Magnum. This is a 5.56. This is a 5.7. And of course, the cartridge though, what they did, with all the power this had, they made the bullet a little bigger, but they made the casing a lot bigger. They made it a bottleneck casing, which has a lot more power in it, so it can drive that larger than 22 further and have a better terminal impact. So that's the 5-7, and that's it compared to a 22 Magnum. And this is a brand new box of them puppies. Pretty, aren't they? You know, look at that. Show you a shot of that. Pretty that is. I love pretty bullets. They just make me so happy, them pretty bullets. That's right. Okay, let's take a look at the Herstal. These two magazines. Here is the firearm with another magazine in it. This black tube, people say, what the hell is that black tube? I wonder what that black tube is for. Okay, well, if I can get it out of here. There we go. What this black tube is, it is actually just a cleaning kit. So there you go. There are the parts for the cleaning kit. There's another part in there. And gives you a couple of little brushes, and that way you can keep your gun clean. A couple of tools for making adjustments. This is the test round. Of course, this would not be considered viable in the US because it's not a sealed bag. They have to make it so it's sealed. They didn't seal that. It's just a little crimp thing. And of course, a safety lock. Here's all your paperwork behind this curtain. First, as usual, let's take a look at the sights. So now I can pretty much have a pretty good, there's your sight picture. Okay, now that I have the big screen hooked up to this camera, it's easy for me to do this. I don't have to zoom in or out, but this is pretty white, nice white, bright sights. 3-dot. The rear is adjustable. It's got some elevation marks on here, and it's up and down, both left windage and elevation on the rear sight. And it has some marks to help you get that centered. It has a reversible ambidextrous mag release. Since we have the mag out, let's make sure it's empty. Look down the chamber, down the magazine well. It's safe. Picatinny rail. This is a lot of plastic in this gun, by the way. It's got some metal, but mostly it's all polymer. This is the slide release. It's kind of big, but it's kind of clumsy feeling, but it works. I mean, my thumb does get to it and it does work. Here's the safety. And this finger does get to it and it does work. It's something that I'm not used to, so I'm not a lover of it, but you know what? If you got used to it, it would not be a problem. And that's the takedown switch. That's about all there is to really say and talk about this firearm. So let's take it apart. By the way, caliber marking is right here. 5.7 by 28. Okay? So how do we take it apart? Well, so we're going to remove the magazine. We're going to pull the slide back until you feel that resistance. And you're going to push this button forward. So you got your fingernail behind it and you push it forward. You release it and it'll come, you got to pull it forward, it will pop off. Once you get that done, you can grab this part and pull it forward and remove that. There you go. You got to fiddle with it a little bit, but it'll come apart. And there we have the barrel assembly apart. And that's about as far as you take it apart, kids. That's it. So you got 4 pieces. Pretty simple takedown. Now, cleaning the gun. I use strike hold. If you want to know about this product, please go see my video on it. This is what I prefer. This is a CLP, a cleaner, lubricant, and protector. So when you clean your gun, that's it. You're done. You put it together, put it in your safe, put it on your side, whatever you're going to do, carry it. It's a dry lube. Dry is like, so it's like a Teflon coating on your gun, so you don't have an oily mess on your clothing or on your hands when you have the gun on you. Okay, so I take the stick, I put the little rag on it, and I go up and down. I'm going to go get all the nice parts. I use the stick so I can get into these like tight little crevices, and I just go in here. Okay. And this has got all the original factory grease in there. Actually, I'm going to spray this because of that. Because this has got all this factory junk in there, and I don't like that. So I'm cleaning this off nice and good with this. I'm going to get back down in there because I have excess grease. You can see not a lot of dirt's come out of there because this is a brand new gun. So I'm just getting a little of the factory grease that is in there and kind of dried up. Okay, now you got to make sure you get in here your battery and your extractor and ejector. Well, your extractor anyway. Your ejector's on the frame. So I made sure I got that nice and clean in there. That's your extractor, and if you don't want dirt getting underneath your extractor because you get dirt in there, what happens is it will ride up over a round and you'll get yourself a jam. Okay, or it'll leave a live round in there when you rack the slide and you don't know it, and then you pull the trigger thinking the gun's empty, and poof, you have a discharge. Okay, and now I can just go all the way through that and clean it. Wow, there was some dirt in there. Look at that. So there we go. We have that nice and clean. Now we want to make sure we get this area extra clean, because this is where the rounds hit, and it's like almost like a funnel. It funnels the bullet into the chamber. It's a little stranger. Most American guns, most normal guns have a ramp that it goes up. The whole piece is like that, which is pretty cool, because if it hits the bottom and slides over, the rest of it grabs it. It's like a funnel. So it probably really reduces jamming greatly. I don't know why someone hasn't thought of that sooner. I like that idea. If that's what it's for. If it's not, it should be. There we go. Chamber's nice and clean. I'm going to get the outside of this. Make sure I get this in here. And the spring. Spring looks damn clean. Very clean, but we're going to get all of this, all the metal parts we're going to touch, get it all cleaned up. Make sure we get these little rails back here. That's what the gun slides on. And these rails in here. And then, of course, we need to mop out the magazine well. I'll put a clean rod on a stick. Go up and down, get that all clean. There was no dirt in there. So I have this whole thing clean. And the magazine itself, you want to wipe that down. Get underneath. I'm going to push down the follower and get it right underneath the feeding fingers. Okay. Now, some of you still use old-fashioned cleaner. So if you do that, you're going to have to put oil in it. And after the oiling, you're going to want to wax it. And I'll explain that later. Okay, so gun oil. This is Gunslick gun oil. It's Outers brand, so it's fine. Any gun oil, everybody says, what gun oil do you use? It doesn't matter. Gun oil, for the most part, cheap gun oil is cheap gun oil. Really good gun oil has a little better viscosity. It'll last a little bit longer in your gun when you're not using it. But it doesn't matter. Remington is supposed to be coming out with this Rem Oil Pro, which is supposed to be phenomenal. We'll find out when it gets out. But this is just gun oil. Now what I do is I don't like putting oil directly on a gun. It's just a place where dirt can build up. And too much oil doesn't do you any good. It actually is bad for the gun. All you want is lubrication on the parts that touch metal. The reason you wipe the rest of the gun down with gun oil is because gun cleaner is like an erosion type liquid. Even if you wipe it off of this polymer, it's still active. And a few weeks goes by and you'll see white spots on your gun, it's because you didn't deactivate the cleaner. You'll lose bluing on your gun. It's because you didn't deactivate your cleaner. Why am I getting bluing loss? That's why. Any place that you touched your gun with cleaner, you're going to have to touch it with oil. So with the just oil on the rag, you don't have to put it directly in the gun. You wipe down the whole gun with your traditional oil, wherever you touched it. If you didn't do the polymer, don't worry about it. But if you got near the polymer on the edges, hit it like that a little bit, okay? And we're going to do inside the slide, okay? So we're going to get in here like this. And you can see anywhere where there's actual contact made, I'm going to make sure I put a little oil on there. And there is contact made up in the front here with the front of the barrel. And it's done with this inside part right on here. So I'm going to get each side of that. I'm going to get down in here and into all these little crevices with a little oil just to deactivate the cleaner wherever I might have touched it. Wherever might have gotten cleaner on here, I'm just going to wipe it down. Now, where you also need to make sure you get some oil, because it is a metal-to-metal contact of these rear rails. So you're going to make sure you get oil in there. Underneath, inside of them, on top of them, behind them. Okay. Now, every gun is a little different. And I give general cleaning for most of these guns. But you should always read your manual. For instance, I'm noticing I see there's a big spring back in here. Okay. What I might want to do is put one drop of oil back on there. I missed. I'm going to wipe that up. Okay, so I got in there. I'm going to get the excess, because if there's a spring on there, it's moving around metal. So I want to get that just to touch it. So there we go. And I already got this spring here with the rag. I'm going to now take this and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I get the rear slots over here, because this gets metal to metal contact. So I'm going to make sure I get both sides. And if you're wondering what am I talking about, real slots, there are these two pin slots right here. I'm going to run this up to the top. You see how it's just stopped? Wood is actually bending. I can go that way, back and forth up to there, and then it stops. Okay, so I'm going to run the rag through there one more time now, because I just ran that dry stick through it. Wood has a habit of picking up the oil. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to make sure I get every place touched, anywhere where I used cleaner. Okay? And you have to do the same. Barrel, the outside, the spring, and the inside. Remember, we put cleaner on the inside, so you want to get the inside of your barrel clean. You want to push I'm not going to bother setting up a rag to do it. You're going to take a stick with a oil rag and you're going to put that through it. This is too big to go through there. But that's what you're going to do. And then make sure you get your whole magazine. Any place that you touch with cleaner, especially if it's made out of polymer or metal, you want to, well, it's either polymer or metal. Polymer will just eat away. Metal, it'll take off the bluing. So I'm going to go underneath there and get my my fingers from my magazine. Make sure it's all clean. Barrel, make sure I get this oiled. And there, we are complete. Now let's put this together. The barrel goes in, and it's not the easiest. You got to push it, but you got to make sure it goes in straight, because if it goes to one side or the other, it sort of locks in and it's a pain to get it out. But you can, it's just harder. So make sure it's straight down the middle to begin with. Now, if you notice, right here there's like a square slot. This piece fits into that slot. So we take that and we put that right down together, just like that. And you just hold the gun together. See that? It'll fit together just like that. And when you have it together just like that, you can slide it back. And when you slide it back, everything locks together. See that? All that's left is a function check. So first we leave it on fire, we racked it so we know the action is done. Now we can put our finger on the trigger and pull it. Nothing happens. And that's correct, because we didn't put the magazine in yet. Now we put the magazine, take your finger off the trigger, put your finger on the trigger, pull it. Correct. It released the firing pin. Magazine, the slide locked back on the empty magazine. The magazine release works. Put the safety on. I put it on from the other side. You can see the switch move. I used my trigger finger. Pull. Nothing. Take the safety off. Pull. And we hear the click. So there you have it. The FN Herstal, or FNH 5-7 by 28. It's just called the 5-7 though. Completely fill stripped, cleaned, lubed, and reassembled. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And until next time.